Hey guys, let's talk a little bit about therapy. Oh, you may have noticed that I missed daily vlogging a few days in a row. I was traveling those days. And you know what? It's just really hard to daily vlog when you're traveling because, like, you're staying in hotels and the Wi Fi is shitty. Um, so I made a more realistic goal because I think it's really important in order for you to be healthy, happy, and feel like you're accomplishing things to set goals, but it's important that those goals are realistic. So I'm going to be daily vlogging every day that I'm not traveling. Fair enough. I hope that's okay with you. Otherwise, I'll get really down on myself and I'll be like, I missed daily vlogging. I should just quit because I love to do that. I love to do that. I'm like an all or nothing person. So if I like screw up, instead of like, getting back on the horse and doing good, I'll just fucking quit. So that's not a good thing to do. Anyway, speaking of quitting, I'm not going to therapy. And I want to talk about it a little bit. And I'm not like not going to therapy, but I'm not going to therapy. I haven't been to therapy in maybe like 4 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, and that's a long time for me. Usually I go, and that includes like not having another appointment booked. Because oftentimes I'll go to therapy every other week, but I'll still have that appointment booked. So it's like a constant thing. Right now, I'm just like, I'm kind of taking a break from the therapy, and I don't know why. I think it's because, and I just want to talk about it. Why do you guys go to therapy? Because I think it really is dependent on the person going to therapy and what they want and how they view therapy and just what happens to gel and work for them. But some people view therapy as like damage control, and some therapists think that therapy is like damage control, kind of. Like, you have some stressors in your life, you have some problems in your life, you are experiencing anxiety or depression or whatever, and so you go to therapy to deal with that. And eventually, when you have nothing else to talk about, when you've fixed all the problems and you're in a healthy place, then you stop going to therapy. Um, and that's okay. That's okay to think of therapy like that. Other people don't think about therapy like that. Other people think about therapy as like this constant in a person's life. Um, like, you go to therapy to always improve, and maybe you don't have like major depression or anxiety issues or huge stressors going on, but there's always things to work on, as far as like being vulnerable and finding peace and happiness and meow 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 meow. So it's like there's no right or wrong answer. I'm just curious what you guys think. And maybe only answer if you have gone to therapy, because it's really easy to like hypothesize and speculate. Be like, well, I don't go to therapy, but I feel like I would use it like this. But that's like maybe not the most helpful input or information, because I really feel like a person's understanding of therapy totally changes once they try therapy. It's kind of like the you don't really know it till you know it things. Um, so, I mean, you can still answer the question, but I'm mostly interested in hearing about people who have gone to therapy. Do you guys use it like damage control, or is it like a constant in your life? Because I have done both. I've used it as like damage control, and I've also tried to use it as a constant. It's hard for me though, because like I have a day job that the schedule is very erratic. It's not like Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. It's different every month, and the hours are not constant. So I'm constantly having to schedule my next therapy session, and if my schedule for the next month isn't out yet, sometimes I can't schedule it, and I have to tell my therapist, like, hey, I'll, like, text you when I know my schedule so we can set this up. But then sometimes, like, the next therapy session isn't set up, and then it's, like, an excuse for me to not set it up, and like just that whole system kind of enables me to not set up therapy appointments. And then you tell yourself, well, hey, I'm feeling good. And maybe you are feeling good and you don't need to go to therapy, but maybe you're just telling yourself that because you're lazy. And sometimes like therapy, anything, when you're like a creative person that thrives on like time and workflow, and having any kind of event in the middle of the day really throws a wrench in your work and your productivity and your creativity, because like, so for example, if I have therapy at noon, I know that I can't film that day because filming can take hours and hours for me. So it's really hard for me to like, if I have therapy at noon, then I have to leave at like 11:30, which means I have to, like, start packing up by 11, which means I would have to get up at, like, 7 a.m., but the light doesn't really come out until 8:30, so then I only have 8:30 to 11 to film, which might sound doable, but I'm a perfectionist, so it really isn't. And then I can't film after therapy because I'll get home at, so 12 to 1, well, I'll get home at 1:30, and then in Minnesota the light is dead at 4. So, like, I don't know. And maybe that's me, maybe that's baloney. Maybe if I really made it work, I could make things work, but I'm trying to find excuses because I'm a lazy potato. And also it's hard because sometimes therapy gets too real and you don't want to go because it's hard. And sometimes therapy gets too boring. Like, you don't have anything to talk about, and then you don't want to go because you feel like it's a waste of time and money. And that's not like a reflection on the therapist or anything. Sometimes you really don't have anything to talk about. Sometimes things are good and you're in a good place. But maybe there's always something to talk about. So this is my giant contradictory internal monologue of everything. I haven't gone to therapy in a little bit, and to be totally honest, and I don't know if it's a good thing, I don't feel like making another appointment for a little bit. Maybe in a few weeks when I feel down on myself or something happens, and I don't know why I'm not making another therapy appointment, but I'm not. It also might have to do with the fact that I've been really overwhelmed lately with traveling and work and stuff, and so to try to have to fit in therapy can be really hard, but then, like, shouldn't you prioritize your mental health? And, like, it just goes on and on. So what do you guys think about all of this? I don't even know what my question is. Just what do you think? Okay. Do you go to therapy? How often do you go?